She's lost to her best friend twice. Now she gets one last shot on the biggest stage in tennis. She has beaten a 4-time Grand Slam champion. She has knocked out a defending Wimbledon champion. She just became the highest-ranked player in Southeast Asian tennis history, man or woman. And yet there is one player, just one, who has beaten her twice this year, in straight sets both times, without giving her a single inch. And it isn't a rival. It's her best friend on tour. In less than 48 hours, inside the biggest tennis stadium on the planet, in front of tens of thousands of fans, those two are about to walk onto the same court for a third time. No ranking points, no trophy, just a friendship, a scoreboard that refuses to move, and one question hanging over all of it. Can she finally solve the puzzle? Or does the story end exactly the way it has twice before? Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why this match means so much more than an exhibition should, and why what happens on that court might end up shaping the biggest tournament of her career. Before we get into it, if you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story is still being written in real time, and you will not want to miss how it ends. Two kids who met at the US Open and never really left each other's orbit. To understand why this rivalry hurts so much, you have to go back before either of them was famous. Back to 2022, at the US Open Juniors, when a quiet, sharp-eyed teenager from the Philippines named Alex Eala was cutting through the girls' draw on her way to the singles title, a result that would later make her the first Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles crown. Along the way, in doubles, she and her partner ran into a young American named Iva Jovic. Eala's side won comfortably. Nobody thought much of it at the time. It was just two teenagers in a junior draw, one match among hundreds. But tennis has a way of pushing the same names back together. Over the next few years, Eala and Jovic kept crossing paths, not as strangers on opposite ends of a bracket, but as two of the most talked about young players on the entire tour, occasional doubles partners, and, by their own accounts, genuine friends. They've talked about exploring new cities together on tour stops. They've shared meals with the other young players, climbing the rankings alongside them. This wasn't a made-for-television rivalry manufactured by a broadcast network. It was a real friendship, the kind that makes it so much harder when the friendship has to pause and the competition has to start. And for Eala, the competition has not been kind. Round 1, Paris, and a wound that wouldn't close. Fast forward to May 2026. Roland Garros, the French Open, first round. Eala, ranked in the high 30s at the time, drew Jovic, the 17th seed, just 18 years old, and already one of the most dangerous baseliners on the women's tour. It did not go well. Jovic came out firing, racing to a 5-1 lead in the opening set behind relentless, aggressive tennis. Eala clawed back. She broke twice, closed the gap to 4-5, made Jovic work for it, but the American closed out the set anyway. In the second, both players traded early breaks before Jovic simply took over. By the time it was finished, the American had won 6-4, 6-2, in barely over an hour and a half, finishing with 34 winners to Eala's 15. It stung. Not because Eala was embarrassed, she wasn't, but because of who was standing on the other side of the net. Losing to a stranger is one thing. Losing to someone who knows your game inside and out, someone you've shared a locker room and a dinner table with, is a different kind of difficult. Eala has been open about exactly that. The mental challenge isn't intimidation, it's the strange discipline of treating a close friend like any other opponent for 2 hours, then going right back to being friends the moment the handshake happens. Jovic felt the same tension from her side. The two know each other's tendencies almost too well by now. There aren't many secrets left between them. When it's this close, she said, the difference just comes down to who executes better on that particular day. In Paris, that was her. Round 2, London, and the gap gets wider. If Paris was painful, what happened next at Queen's Club was something closer to a warning sign. Eala arrived in London riding real momentum, fresh off a WTA 125 title in Birmingham, and having just won 6 straight matches on grass, including a gritty 3-set battle to open the tournament. She looked, for the first time all season, like a player who had figured grass out. Then Jovic was waiting for her again in the second round. The match started almost identically to Eala's opener. She fell behind 0-2 early after getting broken in the first game. But this time there was no comeback. Jovic extended the lead to 4-1, kept her foot down, and closed it out 6-2, 6-2. The exact same scoreline as Paris, delivered even more efficiently. The numbers told the story in brutal detail. Jovic won 81% of her first serve points. Eala managed just 52%. A 6-match winning streak, gone, in straight sets, to the one player Eala most wanted to beat. Jovic, for her part, has never pretended this rivalry is anything but respectful. After the Queen's Club win, she said flatly that there's no bad blood between them. They were back in the locker room together minutes later, laughing, friends again. She's even said she hopes that as both of their rankings keep rising, they'll eventually stop meeting so early in tournaments. That one day they'll be kept apart until a semi-final or a final, somewhere with real stakes attached, rather than crossing paths in the first week over and over again. That's a lovely sentiment if you're the one holding a 2-0 head-to-head lead. It's a lot harder to hear if you're the one still searching for your first win. The twist nobody expected. While she kept losing to her friend, everything else exploded. Here's what makes this story so strange and so compelling heading into this week. By almost every other measure, 2026 has been the best year of Alex Eala's career, by a wide margin. A year ago, she was ranked outside the world's top 130. Then the season took off. A career-high run to the 4th round of Indian Wells. A run to the Wimbledon 4th round that included a win over defending champion Iga Swiatek. And then, in early August, the biggest moment of her career so far. Her first ever WTA Tour singles title at the Mubadala DC Open, where she beat world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the final. That result alone pushed her into the top 20 for the first time in her life. She didn't stop there. Strong runs through the Canadian Open and the Cincinnati Open followed, and on August 24th, just one day before this video, the new rankings dropped, and Alex Eala hit a brand new career high, world number 18. That made her, officially, the highest-ranked Southeast Asian tennis player of all time, man or woman, surpassing marks that had stood since the 1990s and early 2000s. So picture that for a second. A player who is beating top 10 stars, winning her maiden WTA title, setting national and regional history, and still sitting at 0-2 against her closest friend on tour, having never taken so much as a set off her. That is a strange, specific kind of unfinished business to be carrying into the biggest tournament of your year. Because Jovic hasn't been standing still either. She's now ranked as high as world number 14, one of the very best teenagers in the sport, and both of these two are walking into New York as two of the most dangerous young players in the draw. Which brings us to why, in less than 48 hours, all of this comes to a head. If you're enjoying digging into the story behind the stats like this, go ahead and subscribe now. We're about to get into exactly what's on the line this week, and you don't want to lose your place. The stage, Arthur Ashe, Fan Week, and a third meeting nobody saw coming this fast. Every year, in the days before the US Open main draw begins, the tournament puts on an event called Stars of the Open, presented by Chase, now in its 4th straight year as one of the signature attractions of US Open Fan Week. It's built around entertainment and charity. Proceeds support the USTA Foundation, which funds the National Junior Tennis and Learning Network, hundreds of community organizations across the country that give young people access to tennis, academic support, and mentorship. Tickets are priced to be accessible, and the format is fast, loose, and fan-friendly. This year's lineup is stacked with some of the most exciting young talent in the sport. Joao Fonseca, Lerner Tien, Amanda Anisimova, Arthur Fils, Alex Michelsen, Marta Kostyuk, and, facing off directly against each other in one of the night's headline singles matches, Alex Eala and Iva Jovic. On paper, it's an exhibition. No ranking points, no bearing whatsoever on the US Open draw or seeding. Low stakes by design. But nobody who's followed this rivalry actually believes that's the whole story. This is the third meeting in 4 months between two players who have already shown they push each other to the absolute limit. And it's happening on Arthur Ashe Stadium, the largest tennis venue in the world, in front of a crowd that, based on how Eala has been received all week during practice sessions and autograph signings around the grounds, is expected to include a massive, vocal contingent of Filipino fans hoping to see history rewritten in real time. Because here's the thing about a 0-2 head-to-head record against someone you like and respect. It doesn't just sit there quietly. It follows you. It's there in the back of your mind during practice. It's there in the scouting reports, in the pre-match nerves, in every rally where your brain starts doing the math on what happened last time. Walking into the most important stretch of your season, Eala is projected to be seeded in the top 17 at this US Open. By far the best seeding of her career. Carrying that kind of unfinished business is a real weight. A win here wouldn't touch the record books, but it could very easily touch her confidence, and confidence is not a small thing to carry into a Grand Slam. And Jovic isn't walking in overconfident either. She said herself, more than once, that she and Eala know each other's games too well at this point for either of them to expect an easy night. There are no surprises left between them. Just execution on the day, under lights, in front of a stadium that will not stay quiet for either of them. So what actually happens next? Here's where we have to be honest with you. As of right now, this match hasn't been played yet. It's scheduled for Thursday, August 27th, at 6 p.m. inside Arthur Ashe Stadium, which means the answer to the question everyone's asking is still genuinely unwritten. Does Eala finally break through against the one player who has had her number all year? Or does Jovic make it 3 for 3, stretching a rivalry that was already lopsided into something that starts to look less like a rivalry and more like a pattern? Neither outcome changes the record books. It's still an exhibition. It still won't touch the WTA rankings, and it won't affect how either player is drawn once the actual US Open singles bracket comes out. But anyone who's watched these two knows that's not really the point. The point is what happens in Eala's head walking into her first-round match a few days later. The point is whether this is the night the friendship finally tips back in her favor, even a little, or whether Jovic's grip on this rivalry gets even tighter heading into a tournament where these two could easily meet again, this time with everything on the line. Both players have said they'd love to eventually face each other deep in a Grand Slam draw. A quarterfinal, a semifinal, maybe even a final, somewhere their rivalry can finally match the stakes of the story around it. If that day comes, whatever happens on Thursday night at Arthur Ashe will be the chapter right before it. The one everyone remembers one way or another. So here's what we're going to do. We'll be watching this one closely, and the moment there's a result, we're covering it. Full breakdown, full reaction, everything. If you want to actually see how this plays out instead of finding out secondhand, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because this is a story we are not done telling. Because right now, all anyone can say for certain is this. Two friends, one scoreboard that refuses to move, and one very loud stadium in New York are about to find out, together, whether the third time really is the charm.